Our last speaker of the day, I'm very excited to announce because I've seen this name everywhere and I'm really excited to pick up some lessons myself. So Lisa Ackerson is going to talk about presence and how to be impactful in your career, whatever it is. So round of applause for Lisa.
The famous jazz musician Art Blakey once said, "If you're not appearing, you're disappearing." 2 years ago, I worked with a lady called Lucy. Lucy was sent to me, and she came from a huge global corporate organization. Now, Lucy was a Cambridge graduate. She was full of potential. She worked hard. And really, she was primed to be successful in moving up the ranks in her career. But this didn't happen for Lucy. In fact, Lucy stagnated, and her colleagues moved up beyond her. Lucy's bosses were really concerned because they hugely valued Lucy. They wanted to keep her in their organization. But Lucy was at a crossroads. Should she stay? She loved being there, but she wasn't moving. Or should she go to new pastures and find her way up to the top? So I was called in to work with Lucy because the only thing that stopped Lucy from moving to where she wanted to be was her impact, was her presence, was her confidence. Lucy would sit back at meetings like this. She would hardly contribute to a discussion, and when she did, she'd have a voice that was like this. And people would say to her, "Can you speak up? We can't hear you." So Lucy was disappearing. Lucy was wondering why she just wasn't making it. 90% of people have no awareness of how they come across. A study that was done by a Princeton University psychologist called Alex Todorov said it takes a tenth of a second for someone to form an impression of you, whether they see you as trustworthy or not. So whether you're out there now, sitting quietly in your corner, or up here, standing and owning this big stage, you're creating an impact. The question is, what kind of impact are you creating? Every facial muscle, every gesture, every movement you take tells a story. Then you open your mouth, and your tonality communicates another story. And finally, only then, will your message land. If you are congruent with your body and your voice and your message, it will land powerfully with your listeners. But if you're not, for instance, I can't wait to be part of your team, then you're going to send a very different message. Your nonverbals are communicating far more strongly than you can possibly imagine. So for the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you why it's really important for you to connect with two key areas, your body and your voice, and how by so doing, you can increase your career prospects and you can come across with confidence, credibility, and impact. So, the first question to ask you, would you be willing to just stand up now and do a little experiment with me? So just standing up from your chairs I'd like you to do something. I'd like you to stretch wide up here in a V-like posture, okay? And I'd like you to look up at the ceiling as if you've won something. You've had a Mo Farah moment. You've crossed that finishing line and you've won your prize. And just hold that for about 2 to 5 seconds. And breathe deeply. Just see that huge prize before you. And can you say now, I'm depressed? Stay there. Now what I want you to do is do the opposite. Can you cross your right foot over your left? Can you fold your arms and make yourself really small? And can you look down onto the floor? And again, can you hold that for about 5 seconds? Now can you say, I'm really confident? It's pretty difficult, isn't it? You can sit down now. You've done your bit. Amy Cuddy, a social psychologist and associate professor of Harvard Business School, has shared her talk and her research around what's called power posing. I don't know how many of you have heard of power posing, but really it's what you've just done. It's about expanding and taking your space. It's about saying, I can be visible and I can own my space and what I have to say. Now, if you hold that, we did it for about 10 to 15 seconds. If you hold that for about 2 minutes a day, what she discovered is your testosterone, and women, we have it too, your testosterone goes up by 20%. This is the part of you that makes you feel confident, dominant, assertive, take risks. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, I'm sure the ladies here who shared with you about it will say that that is part of being an entrepreneur, taking risks, being confident, going out there, being bold. And what that pose does is put you in that state. Equally, it takes your cortisol levels. Cortisol deals with stress, yes. So it drops your cortisol levels by 25%. Now that's huge. On the reverse side of it all, when you come in standing in a low power pose, like this, or like this, or like that, then what happens is your testosterone drops by 10% and your cortisol levels rise by 15%. So if you're going in for that big pitch, if you're going in for that interview, look how you're preparing yourself before you go in. It's really important that you take space, that you're planted, that you look tall and you look strong. And it doesn't take much to own that. But if you start to make yourself small, cross, fiddle, play, you immediately send a very different message. You can see it just by looking at my body right now. It's sending a very different story. So that's one part of the jigsaw. And the other part is your vocal tonality. Now, I've worked with actors right across the stage, coming from a theatrical background, being a specialist voice coach. I've worked with them on their voices, projecting it in a theatre, working on screen, working on telly, and over the past 15 years, working in businesses to help people be that much more impactful, to help them get their message landed in a way that enables people to take action. And how do we do this? Through our voices. Well, first of all, if I come across and I'm strident and harsh and strong in this way, you might kind of pull back and think I'm a bit aggressive. On the other hand, if I talk to you with a very soft voice and I say, look, everyone, I've got something really important to share, you're probably not going to listen much to me. If anything, I'm probably going to be interrupted an awful lot. And how I might be perceived is weak and timid and a walkover. So leadership position, let's just forget that one. If I'm speaking very, very quickly and I've got lots of information and I want to tell you and I go a million miles an hour like this, what may come across is that, oh my gosh, that's a little bit too fast for me to digest, but also I could appear to be quite nervous. If I talk to you very slowly and take a lot of time, you might start getting rather bored and switch off. If I tend to speak with a voice that's a little bit higher, women, yeah, and it's sort of a bit up here, and I'm trying to get the attention of people, then what I'll find is it's very hard, really, to have gravitas and credibility, because that voice really doesn't do very much in creating credibility, does it? No, I don't think so, really, because it doesn't really land. So if I've got something really important to say, it won't land. Equally, blokes, if I talk right down here because it's sort of cool, you know, sitting right down here, and then after a while you'll find it just is going to lull everybody. It's not going to have much carrying power. So it's about being able to be flexible with our voices. It's about finding power. One of the things, and this is really aimed at us, at the women out here, is a thing called upspeak, which most women tend to do. It's one of the things I have to work with an awful lot if you want to be taken seriously. Have you heard of upspeak? Or Stephen Fry calls it HRT, high rising terminals. And it's what we do when we make a statement, but we ask it as if it's a question. So if I were to say, I'm Lisa Orkerson, I'm a communication skills trainer, I'm really confident about what I do, and I really think you should hire me. Yeah? They did a research on 700 bosses, and what they found is 85% of them said that when they hear that, it sends the signal that that person is not confident. When they hear that, 44% said if someone like that walked into an interview, they would mark them down by a third. That's how it lands. So, I'm going to do a little experiment with you in a moment, because one of the things people come to me for is, can I have a little bit more vocal power? Can I ensure that when I have something to say, it carries, it lands, it reaches the people I want it to reach? So I'm going to show you a quick little exercise that you can utilize to get a little bit more vocal power. I want you to sit there in your relaxed mode, wherever you are at the moment. Just do what you classically do. If you lean back, lean back. If you've got your arms crossed, cross it. And can you, in that position, just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for me, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. Now, can you go, my name is, and tell me what your name is? Go. Okay, just listen to the energy in the room, guys. I'm not sure how inspired you are with it, but clearly on this end, it's not quite reaching. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to sit up on your chairs, so you look as if you're awake and ready to go. Okay, I want you to imagine that not imagine, but actually place your feet firmly on the ground, so you're not crossing your legs. So you're feeling the ground underneath you. You've got gravitas. And imagine you've got a string pulling you right to the top, so you're the tallest person in this room. You've got status and you've got presence. Now, put your finger just beneath your breastbone here. Okay, there's a little muscle there I want you to feel. And can you do this, which is make the sound shh. Good. One more time. Make it really nice and loud. Shh. Now do this. Psst. Can you feel something popping outwards? Thank God you're human and you've got muscles at work. Good news. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you now, placing your finger there, to just go 1, 2, 3. Go. 1, 2, 3. Brilliant. Now can you say, my name is, and tell me your name with real ownership and confidence. Go. My name is Sarah. Fantastic. Now lean back. Go back to your old you. Forget that. Tell me your name again. Right, there you go. There's your level of impact. So, when you're able to connect with energy and vibrancy, what you do is you inspire others to latch on with you and go along with what you've got to share. One of the things most of us are unaware of is that we've got this incredible gamut of 24 notes to our speaking range. Did you know you've got 24 notes? That's incredible, isn't it? It's that musicality in your voice. It's the part that says, if I'm speaking, the whole of me is communicating. All my emotions, all my feelings, all my thoughts come through my voice. Can you guess how many notes we use in real life? 3. Someone said 3, absolutely 3, and if you're lucky, up to 5. So our voices can sound very monotone, and it can very much go on this plane. And if I were to talk to you like this for the rest of this day and tell you about career breakthrough and how you're going to be, successful people because you're going to go through on this course and you've learned so many things and it's going to be very exciting, I expect you're not going to be very inspired. Would that be fair? Yeah? So it's about being able to use that range. Now, Lucy. Remember Lucy that I talked about? Lucy worked with me once a month for almost a year. And what we did was we worked on Lucy's physicality. We worked on her finding gravitas, holding her space, communicating with dynamism and impact. Lucy started to learn to lean in rather than lean back. Lucy was aware that when she spoke now, she connected with a voice of confidence, a voice of credibility, a voice that would land her message in a way that people would listen to her. And it was after a year that I got a call from Lucy. And when I picked that phone up, I knew what I was going to hear. Lucy said, "Lisa, I can't wait to tell you this most incredible news." And I said, "What?" She said, "I am director. They promoted me to the role of director in the company." And she said, "In my wildest dreams, I never thought this would happen. Thank you." And I said, "Lucy, I didn't do anything. You did it." Lucy's presence was being seen. Lucy's voice was being heard. Lucy's message landed in a way that inspired her team to trust her and to follow her. Lucy was no longer invisible. She was appearing. And she was appearing with confidence. Thank you.